जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ರೈಲು
एक्सप्रेस পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दियो
What do you think of yourself?
Why are you talking to that to me?
क्या है?
Why are you talking
Problem
to
क्या
that?
है?
What's wrong with you?
सामने
here?
बात करना.
No.
Talk in front of me.
No. What do you
talk
have-
in front of me.
Look, I'm from Delhi
No,
also.
don't talk
You know
in
who my
front of
father
me.
is?
Talk in front of me.
Do you know who my father is?
Hey, how are you, brother? Hello and welcome. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur with my dear friends Joy Bhattacharjya and Michael Vaughan. We were doing a little show and tell. We've all been in class 4. Once I was there for 3 years, in fact. What we were doing was a show and tell to tell you. This is just how Delhi boys talk. This is a term of endearment by saying, oh, don't talk to me like that is actually a way of addressing somebody with love. People don't understand this. They're just making a big deal out of nothing.
Nice try.
Don't you think?
Really nice.
I'm just saying. All right, I'm just saying, Michael, I'm sure you've seen some rough parts of the world, right? You have in your travels as a world traveler, as Phileas Fogg of our times. You've seen
like it.
some parts of the world, some rough parts of the world. This is how people talk to each other, man.
Yeah, it was just a few handshakes that went wrong.
That's it.
That's all.
Sometimes.
That's all. Yeah, I mean, the IPL always seems to draw up a lot of moments on the field. There's great catches and hat-tricks and hundreds. And then there's the odd little kind of moment off the field or just coming off the field. And I will say this, that Virat's a fiery character.
Yeah.
And on the field last night, you could see his team were firing. They were defending a low total. It was a fantastic win. RCB right in the contest. I don't mind players having little confrontations. I don't mind that. It's the game. You don't want to see it every day, but I don't like seeing coaches get involved.
Good point.
I don't see where the coach or any part of the coaching department is involved in the game. What goes on the field stays on the field. If there's a little bit of a kerfuffle or an argument between two players, well, they sort it out with the players. The coaches, for me, for in the dugout, in the dressing room, looking after strategies. I don't like to see these fallouts between a coach and a present-day player.
That's a good perspective. Yeah. See, we're talking serious now.
No, it's exactly my point. I fully and totally agree with him. I mean, we all knew where this started. Yeah. Actually, I've seen this start in 2013.
Correct.
Many years back. The first actual IPL.
When both were players.
When both were
we
players.
should add, yeah.
Which was at a different time. Both were players, both were fiery characters. It happened, and one of the people who separated them was one of our
co-panelists, Rajat Bhatia.
Yeah. So this happens, but exactly that. I think two things. One was, where did this start? This started from the match in Bangalore, in the Chinnaswamy, where a famous win was pulled out, chasing 220 for 3 down. LSG managed it, and then, one of their coaches made a certain gesture to the crowd about, silencing the crowd. And so when Virat sort of comes out here, he just goes ballistic on the other end. If he's going to do it once, Virat is the kind of guy who's going to do it 5 times.
And I guess what Virat said afterwards is that don't dish it out if you can't take it back.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that line made a lot of sense.
And also, I mean, if this is going back to 2000, that's 10 years. It's a long time to hold a grudge. If there are grudges
hey, listen,
to be held,
Michael, we're Delhi boys, man. We can hold a grudge.
We are Sicilian, 4 centuries.
I'll say if Gautam is holding a grudge or Virat, I don't think Virat, I'd say get over it, come on. It's a game of cricket. We all love the game of cricket. You can't hold a grudge for so long. You can't, every time that you see that person, try and outdo that person or hope that something goes wrong to that person. We're talking about cricket here, come on.
Hey, just one thing I want to add, though, because I've heard a lot of cricketers talk about this, and this is a larger point, is that there are some, and Michael, as a captain, you'll know this as well, right, about giving lip, about sledging, about having a chat. You do it to some players, and then some players you don't do it to, because you realize if you get them fired up, it brings out the best in them. If you make them angry, it brings out the best in them. I've heard that Brian Lara used to be ignored, like you don't talk to him. Steve Waugh, you never talk to him. Because these guys just kind of get fueled up. Virat Kohli, they say, don't talk to him. Don't make him angry because that brings out the best in him. That's just the kind of guy he is.
We played Lara in 2000 or 2001 in England, and he was really struggling. Didn't get a run. Craig White, actually, the all-round, used to bowl him round his legs, and I think Darren Goff had him a few times. We went to Manchester. Dominic Cork was in the team. And he was batting pre-lunch and he couldn't hit it. He was playing and missing. I think it was about 10 or 15. He'd edged them to that score. But Dominic Cork, just before lunch, decides to chirp him.
Oh, no.
Starts to give and we were like, what? We walked into the dressing room and the cameras were on Lara. Lara walked straight off the pitch at Old Trafford to the old pavilion and he turned left. And we didn't know this because we'd gone up the stairs to our dressing room, but it was on the cameras. Channel 4 were covering the cricket at those days. And we noticed, and we were just having some lunch, and we looked at I went, oh, that's interesting. Lara had walked straight off the ground, up the steps, turned left, not gone right into his dressing room. He went to his coach, and he walked past the dressing room and went in the nets. He spent the whole of the lunch hitting balls in the nets. In the afternoon, he smoked us for 140.
I wonder what you guys said to Dominic afterwards.
What have you done? It's all around Manchester.
You don't, to some players, you just don't. It fires them up.
Yeah. So Kobe used to have this famous statement, Kobe Bryant. He turned around and he said that, don't shake the tree, a leopard may fall off. So you've got to be very...
Don't do that. Yeah, that's right. And that's what... by the way, happy birthday, Brian Lara. It's his birthday today.
Yeah. Yep.
So happy birthday to the Prince of Trinidad. But yeah.
If I was playing against Virat Kohli, I'd find out what he likes, what his favourite tea was, if he drinks tea. I'd just deliver it to his dressing room.
Yeah.
I'd just be lovely to him. Morning, Virat, how are you?
How's it
Looking
going?
lovely.
How's the family?
Yeah.
Can I tell you something
You're
really
good.
interesting?
What did you eat for breakfast?
Yeah.
Can I tell
would
you
you like some breakfast? What would you like?
Yeah. Wait, I just have to add to this. There's this fantastic story about Saqlain Mushtaq. Okay? And Saqlain Mushtaq playing against our friend Sachin Tendulkar. Sachin, the greatest batsman. Sachin is struggling. It's not a great pitch. Sachin is struggling. So Saqlain Mushtaq actually turns around and he sort of chirps him a little. And Sachin gives this really innocent smile and said, "You're such a good man. Why are you talking like this? This is really bad. I don't expect you to talk like this. I didn't expect it of you." And Saqlain said, "I felt really bad and I kept bowling, but it was in my head. And I didn't realize for 3 overs he'd taken 1-4 off and got totally set. Then in the evening, he realized that actually he's been done in by Sachin Tendulkar. And he said that, you caught me." And Sachin just smiled at him and said, it's a nice game. But that's the way to do it.
That's the way you do it.
He made him feel so guilty he couldn't bowl for 3 overs.
I really want to know what Naveen said because he came back and he wanted to say it again and again and again. He was saying a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, the fact is that Bangalore had a very big win yesterday in Lucknow. And from the time they came into to field, defending that low total, you could see they were on fire in the field. They were really pumped up. And the way they've defended that score, I think that's going to hurt LSG for a while because now they've had 2 chases of low scores that they haven't been able to get over the line. All right, there's one team that hasn't been able to get much over the line. That's Delhi. And there's one team that's living way beyond the line. That's Gujarat. And those are the 2 teams they're playing today. Both table toppers, depending on where you approach the table from. I was a topper in class as well, I said last night. Figure it out, man. But Delhi has won the toss. They won the toss and they've decided to bat first. Let's have a look at their team. There's big news for them is that Mitchell Marsh apparently is ill. He's not well, so he's not playing. I'm telling you, man, it's this heat wave that's happening all over the country. This IPL should happen in February. More on that later. David Warner, the captain. Phil Salt, still playing. Manish Pandey. Riley Russo comes in. So obviously no Robin Powell still. Priyam Garg, Akshar Patel, Ripple Patel, Aman Khan, Ishant Sharma, Kuldeep Yadav and Anrik Nokia.
Is this the batting 11?
The batting team, yes.
This is the batting team.
So they're going to get, which bowler will they get in? We should have a look at the impact list as well.
It'll be, Prem Garg will probably go out. No, Prem is a decent bowler.
Kuldeep Yadav is here. Nokia is here. Ishant Sharma. They haven't sent the impact list as yet.
I think they'll have another fast bowler.
Yeah, I guess they'll add one. All right, let's quickly have a look at the Gujarat starting 11 as well, even though they don't make any changes. So let's have a look. Oh, there you go.
They have a change. Or they think
Thanks, Ashu. No, there's no change.
No.
Unchanged. They're bowling first.
They're bowling
this is their
first.
team.
Okay, this is their first.
They will get... so Shubman Gill doesn't field. Good gig.
Yeah,
Michael? Not bad.
Yeah, but
He's getting a Duplessis.
He should want a field. Young chap, brilliant cricketer. He should want to be out there fielding. But I guess If you said to me in my career, you can sit in the dugout and then just pass it, yes, please. I was useless at fielding, but these young players these days, they should be wanting to field.
Yeah, well, I guess they don't really have a choice. It's the coach and the supporting staff decides. But this is there. Yeah, so let's talk about their bowling first. This match, of course, is happening in Ahmedabad, which is the Gujarat home ground. Remember one thing. This ain't no Lucknow Ghasita Ram, all right? We had the Ghasita pitch yesterday, giving us... We had... Lucknow, basically, we figured last night, in Mohali they scored 257. In their last 2 games at home, they've totaled 240.
Unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
Against Gujarat. This pitch, and I've said it again and again on this show, I have absolutely no authority, but that has never stopped me. I've given it a demerit point. Would you give this pitch a demerit point as well, the Lucknow pitch?
It's a poor pitch.
Okay.
It's a poor pitch, but it's produced 2 great games.
But it's
it's a poor pitch for striking the ball on, but it has... You've got to remember, in all formats of the game, if we just had the same pitches every single game, it'd be pretty boring.
True.
So you just need, every now and again, you just need a little bit of a different main course.
We have got a 70-run variation, by the way. Okay, between the pitches that the average score, Calcutta about 220, average score somewhere like now 150. That's a big variance,
That's
Joy.
a big variance. That's a big variance. And the other thing was that the Lucknow pitch, there's one game that it played strangely. It played pretty well. And then it's gone back to its original character. And my point is that, see, this is the template that Gambhir did very successfully in Kolkata. Low, slow pitches, but not so
do they
low.
have this? But do they have the same ammo that they had? Because that was some brilliant spin ammo back then.
That was a brilliant spin attack. That was a great spin attack when Sunil Narayan bowling Shakib Al Hasan, Sunil Narayan, Iqbal Abdullah, Rajat Bhatia, who's nobody knows what he bowls, but on slow, low pitches is impossible to hit.
Yeah.
So those bowlers were tailor-made for that pitch.
So you think that pitch is on order?
I feel that they must have told them to get
think it's
lower
been
and
overcooked.
slower, but I think...
It's overcooked.
I mean, the guy was too zealous. You know, they've got it wrong. Obviously, it's not an exact science.
Yeah, I think he's put a little too much love in it. I think it's got overcooked. I don't think they also have 2, right? They have a black soil and a red soil. The red one gives a little more runs. This black one's
This is the black one, yeah.
the sticky one, which is what is done. The reason we're talking about last night's game still is because, hey, this is 1v10 who's playing today, and we'll show you the points table. And also, yesterday's game has had an impact on the table, the elation of fans, post-traumatic stress. There's a lot that has happened yesterday. Match fees being docked. There's a lot that has happened yesterday. We're still hungover. It was a good night.
It was a brilliant
Big night.
My only point is never should anyone talk to us about... No, so first, just looking at the table, I mean, this is very interesting. So that middle 5, because really, if 6 is where you're going to go, 4 is where we're going to qualify, really Mumbai is at the edge right now.
Yeah.
Mumbai is just about hanging on.
But they've got a game in hand.
Yeah, but you have to say Kolkata and Hyderabad now are struggling and Delhi is truly, unless something magical happens, they're really unlikely.
Let's face it. I mean, see, there will be fans who'll do mathematical possibilities and
this is that week. This is that
number
week.
jugglery and trapeze and jump through hoops. But the bottom 3 teams have just been left behind, haven't they?
Yeah. I don't see any of those 3, but I think if Gujarat win tonight, I'd expect them to do so. No, Mitchell Marsh is a big blow. He played great in the last game. If Gujarat win and get to 14, it really is then down to 3 from the 6.
3 places, yeah.
There's 6 teams that can get to those final 3 places. I don't remember an IPL being so close and so tight at this stage of the tournament, which is great. Over the weekend, I mean, Mumbai beating Rajasthan was a bit of a shock. That brought them a bit closer. Last night's game was a bit of a shock, really.
Yeah,
from the
RCB
chase.
stays in contention.
RCB stays in contention. There was another game on Sunday. What was the other game on Sunday?
Punjab and Chennai.
Punjab stay in
beating
contention.
Chennai. That was a you'd have expected Chennai to win that one and kind of move a little bit further away, but it's just brought so many more teams into the equation, which is great.
The crazy thing that happened in the Punjab-Chennai game, which I've not seen in the longest time, is they ran 3.
Yeah. And run 3 on the 20th over of the match.
Yeah, the last ball, you run 3. Run 3? How do you run 3? I've not seen... I didn't even know that existed anymore. At least not on those grounds. All right, let's have a look at the stars for Gujarat, and this might take about 45 to 50 minutes because everybody's a star there, right? They just put their hand up and say, oh, I'll do it in this game. Yes, please, I will. Because you look down that attack, and what we've checked yesterday is that they've got 6 player of the matches, right? In 6 wins, they've got 5 different people. So, and the person who's won it twice. All right, let's see if you guys can guess this. Who's won it twice? Everybody has won it once, but there's one.
VJ.
No.
Shank.
No, he's won it.
No.
No, not Noor. No. Noor's got one. Come on,
Rashid
guys.
hasn't got one. Pandya hasn't got one.
Yeah. So
Rashid
Shami,
Khan.
not Shami.
Shami's not one. So Shami, Hardik, Shubman Gill, they're three big pillars.
Have not
won. Rashid's got one.
Wait,
Riddhi's
Tewati has
got
not
one.
Tewati has not got, have you?
No.
Good Lord.
So shall I tell you who's got two?
Yeah.
The only one who's got two. He was their net bowler last year.
Wow.
Mohit Sharma.
Mohit Sharma. Of course Mohit got two. Yes,
Yes.
3 matches he got two, of course.
Back-to-back games.
The interesting thing about today's game is if we look at that 11 there from Gujarat, there's not one player that's not in form.
Yeah.
If you look at the Delhi team, I think there's only about 2 or 3 of them that are in form.
In form.
And one of them is not playing today.
One of them's not
so
playing,
There's
he's
probably
ill.
9 in the 11 that's starting for Delhi that were completely out of form.
Yeah.
Whereas Gujarat, I don't know of any of those players that you're looking at going, oh, they're not in form or confident state. And Shubman Gill to be added into that. They're just operating as a unit. They're finding a way. And as you say with the man of the matches, it's different people contributing all the time. That is always the sign of a really good
They
team.
did it last year as well. If you remember, their first 8 man of the matches, 7 of them were 7 separate players. That's a magic.
I'm telling you,
That's
it
a
is,
sauce.
how do you avoid, remember you taught me this term, the sophomore curse. For those of you out there, I'll teach it to you now. Sophomore is your second year. And it's the second year curse when you've topped the class in the first year. But the best way to avoid the sophomore curse is just carry on year one.
Season 1, yeah.
Pretend like it's just season 1, carrying on. It's like the sequel which was shot with the movie, right? So you're not shooting it separately. And that's what these guys are doing. It's exactly the same. And when you look at their bowling attack, it's always like the total is more than the sum of the parts. It's what they end up doing. You have a champion world-class bowler in Rashid Khan. He got hit for 50 in the last game. That doesn't happen, right? They still win because of the variety that they have in the attack. And let's have a look at their bowling 11 and you'll see. So they've got right arm pace. They've got in Shami, right? So Shami, who's bowling a test match length. You've got Joshua Little, who comes with the left arm. Hardik Pandya, the captain, who's been bowling 140 plus regularly. You've got right arm wrist. You've got left arm wrist, right?
And you've got a reserve right arm wrist.
And you've got Mohit Sharma.
And you've got Mohit Sharma, who is a veteran, knows how to use any conditions. You've got an Alzari Joseph who's still not in, right?
Yep.
And if you had to play different, this is how they've built their squad. You've also got right arm off in Jayant Yadav, Indian Test player. Left arm orthodox in Sai Kishore.
Sai Kishore. They have all.
They've got... it's just,
And they spend money on bowlers, and everyone is looking at them and wondering in the auction that what you guys doing, because you didn't have enough batsmen. Look at the Indian batsmen out there, and you say they were all projects.
Yeah.
Riddhiman Sai is a project. Okay, Shubman Gill, promise, but still not established himself. Okay, Vijay Shankar, the number 4 curse.
let's stick on him for a second, because I have to tell you what happened in the last chase. I genuinely just got up to get a bottle of water. And I came back and suddenly he hit, like, I said, what happened to him? He was a 110 strike rate. He's a 200. Did he just hit 3 6s and a 4 or something in literally 5 minutes? I mean, there's some level unlock that's happening in this team as well.
I mean, Shankar's a class act.
Yeah.
You know, there's no point saying anything other. He's got, the game to be able to be a very, very consistent performer, obviously not just for the Gujarat, but for the national team. Without any question. And I know you don't like talking about the number 4, but there he is.
It is cursed. It is like saying Macbeth in the theatre.
There he is.
You do not say Macbeth in the theatre. So, yeah, that's the number 4 curse. I mean, can you believe it's back?
He's just got to be told that he's not batting 4, but he is, It's just, you're not at 4, but you are.
Can I tell you something? If you see, there's a lot of buildings in India where there's floor 12 and then just floor 14.
Yeah.
So you just don't mark it in the elevator. You don't mark it anywhere. So why doesn't...
Are there any rules in that, in cricket?
What?
Do you have to say you're batting 4, just say you're batting 5, but you're not?
Yeah.
Batting 4, but you're batting 5. And this number 11's 12, so it just goes up 1.
You just
You just don't have a number 4.
do it, right? Why can't you do it for good feng shui?
Yeah, I mean, because there are 2 numbers. in
Feng shui.
Feng
That's
shui.
it. Jeffrey Boycott's into feng shui.
I thought you would
Really?
say, I thought you'd say Vastu, given India.
No, I'm an international man of
Jeffrey
mystery.
Boycott. Jeffrey Boycott.
I like
he's not bought houses because the feng shui master has been to the house that he was buying and said your bed's going to be facing the wrong way.
Are you serious?
That's absolutely true.
Thank God he was not there during his test cricket. Said this pitch is not aligned right on bat today. I know an Indian team player who used to do almost stuff like that. His astrologer used to tell him, don't play this series. And he'd have this injury and not play.
Yeah.
No, okay. No, Gaurav. No, Gaurav. No. No.
Who was it?
My lips are sealed. I could tell you for a price. Maybe later, okay? I'll tell you for some prawn and some gyoza.
Yes,
Maybe I'll tell you later, okay? I'll tell you. But Vijay Shankar, he was brilliant in the last game. And you think about it, he actually got ill, so he didn't play a few games. Sai Sudarshan comes in his place.
Does really well.
He does really well. So they're just kind of finding a way to just get this job done. He's not even bowling yet. Like, they haven't required Vijay Shankar to bowl. Remember, they took him in the World Cup in 2019. He was your all-round option.
Yeah, he was number 4. Yes, he was.
Right?
And then everything went wrong. I mean, it's one of those things.
He got injured.
Yeah.
He got injured.
And the discussion before of 3D players and Ambati Raidu not going and number 4 in 3D, all that, And so, therefore, he's also taking a lot of baggage for stuff which is not necessarily his fault.
Yeah, but it's good. They've managed to kind of unleash him. Let's talk about Delhi now, because that is...
Can I just talk about one more thing?
Yes,
Can we talk about Shami for a bit?
I have a lot of time for Shami. So here's a question. I think I should just ask the crew and all our fans, because they've seen Ashish Nehra on Cricbuzz Plus. What is his favourite term? Length ball. Right? No. He loves length ball. Tappe pe dalo, length ball. Shami is his dream come true.
Exactly. So this is what I want to talk about. That at one time in 15, 16, 17, I've seen Shami. He was playing for Delhi. He's played before. I mean, he was trying to do all the varieties because he's a skilled bowler. He was trying to do all the varieties of bowling that he normally did.
So T20 variations,
T20
all the cute
behind
stuff.
The cute stuff behind the arm, doing that. All that he did. And he used to get whacked towards the end. And then somewhere something shifted in his head and he said, if I bowl so well, if I can bowl this kind of length at this, why? And I think it could be a friend Ashu who's unlocked that. Saying that, look, if you're capable of doing that and you use that test match length, just bowl that length. We'll bowl you 3 overs up front.
One of the best seam presentations that you'll see in world cricket, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the key to him being able to bowl that length, he always seems to get a bit of movement.
Yeah.
If he wasn't getting any movement, he'd just get dispatched. But he's always getting a little bit of sort of very... And because he can take the ball either way, it doesn't have to do a lot. Yeah. He only has to do a little bit, and then the batter's thinking which way is he going. So he doesn't have to swing this amount. He just has to do a little bit. And his skill levels to right and left-handers is immense, because if he needs to tuck up a right-hander, he can go back in. Yeah. If he thinks the right-hander's got a problem with the outside edge, he can go away, and vice versa to the left-handers, and he's quick.
Yeah.
I think it reminds me of when you face a bowling machine, it kind of hits you because there's no run-up. But he has a run-up, but even his release, it's almost as if he does the players for pace. He needs to gather pace off the pitch.
Yeah.
I know from speaking to some of the England players, they find him so hard to face.
Yeah.
Because he bowls that length, he brings you forward, and he brings in LBW bowled, and obviously the
everything into the...
he's bringing all dismissals into play, so he's a class act.
But there's just this whole... I like this point because sometimes in T20 cricket, you just see too much variation, right? It's like how much variation is too much variation. And I remember the 3 of us actually had a chat very early in this tournament with Mark Wood, where we said, wait, if you can bowl at 150, why are you trying this cute stuff at 120, right? Why the slower ball? You don't need to. So I think there's also, it's quite interesting and almost counterintuitive when you get a fast bowler who says, wait, I'm not going to do all that. I'm just going to stick at what this is. And maybe just the simplicity of that confuses the batters because they're so used to the bowler changing it up 5 times in an over.
Absolutely. And in fact, early on, again, at KKR, Jacques Kallis just did that. He suddenly turned around and said that, you know what, I can bowl. And Jacques is a strong boy.
Yeah.
He can really, and his bouncer is a wicked bouncer. He gets at you. And he says, I can do just that. I don't need to do cute stuff because it's not necessary to do cute stuff all the time. If I do the good stuff really well, if I can do the standard stuff really well and the batsman can't hit me, why am I trying to be cute? It's a different matter. If you're getting hit, I can understand. But if you're not, why am I going to try and do that? And so I love the fact that Shami has simplified his arsenal and sharpened his weapons in that arsenal.
Oh, I love
it. Also, as a batter, if you've got a ball coming at you at 90 miles an hour and it's on around off-stump length, in the first 6, you think, where can you hit that ball? Realistically, where can you hit the ball? All right, you can play a baseball bat, but you have square leg back. So if they try and play that shot, you've got a chance of getting them out. Probably got third man down on the boundary, so the edge. So you've got 2 boundary riders. So then as a player, you think, right, how do I hit that? Well, you see so many players give themselves space and they try and whack it, or they get inside and try and whip it over mid-wicket. But when it's coming at 90 miles an hour and there's a little bit of movement, it's not easy to play those strokes. So, I guess it's the old method of playing cricket, just bowl your best ball.
Yeah.
Whatever your best ball is, bowl it as many times as you can and say to the batter, you've got to do something different. And that's what Shami does to most players that he bowls to.
And he's doing it really well because he's picked up 13 wickets. He's getting success up front and, well, the team is winning. The other team, I have a question for Delhi, is the curious case of Akshar Patel, right? You have a sharp weapon in your arsenal, but it ain't going to stab nobody if you keep it in your pocket. It's probably going to just stab yourself.
He's way, he's just not got enough opportunities in the crease when the situation is right. Yeah. By that I mean that getting an opportunity when your team is 32 for 4 is hardly helping, or 56 for 5 in 16 overs so every time he's coming into the situation, he's got a reconstruction case in his hand.
Yeah.
So the point is, get him up earlier at a chance when he can actually impact the game. Yeah. Right now, he's always fighting against, his team is down and he's all just fighting to get them back.
He has to basically be a salmon, right? He has to fly.
Yeah.
He has
against Hyderabad in the last game, it was crying out for a left-hander in the middle.
Yeah, and they said, Priyam Garg ahead of him, Sarfaraz ahead of him, and you're thinking, where's Akshar?
Yeah, they got that completely wrong, and I know there's been a little bit, after that game it was, that's his role, he's going to, he's the finisher. And I think Saurav Ganguly yesterday in a press conference said, they're going to try and get him higher up. So I'm led to believe that's what I've been told. So it kind of makes sense, but, the problem when you put people in these roles, you're the finisher, that sometimes you need to kind of adapt on that game in that kind of situation. That, wait a minute, all right, we might have him down as a finish, but we need a left-hander out there, which he's the only one left, really. Yeah. Get him in there a little bit sooner. So as much as all this kind of information comes across from the management these days, and they do like to stick to these roles, there is a little bit of that kind of man management and that kind of strategic, but that's not for today. We need to just act a little bit differently. So I'd like to see teams do that a little bit more rather than just stick strategically to what they were going to do before the game.
So as Saurav said, the director of cricket has said it's not the coach. The directors of cricket are having quite a say in the last couple of days.
The directors of cricket, they're right there. I think they're missing their time in the middle, and they're sort of saying, we also want to be there. But
it's great because these are two people, feisty characters, both Gautam and him, who would go out in the middle today if you gave them a chance.
Yeah, they'd go out in the middle. Today, you look at Saurav in his current role, he doesn't need to sit in the dugout. But he's right out there in the dugout. He's the director of cricket and all that. Normally, those roles, a lot of them don't sit in the dugout. But I think he loves to be close to the game. But if I were Ricky Ponting and anybody in my unit, anybody from another coach to anybody turned around and talked about batting position changes without, the coach should be saying these things. That's all.
I'm very old school. I don't think it's old school. If you appoint a coach to be the coach of that cricket team, the coach puts a few around him, to help him out, bowling coach, batting coach, fielding coach. That's your team. And until you get told otherwise, you run the team.
Yeah.
The director of cricket role is to appoint those people and then almost just step aside and just watch. And when it goes wrong, then you step in and say, I'm sorry, but you're doing it the wrong way. I think by being there, it's almost... and also the players will be looking and thinking, who's in charge here? Who's the boss? I think it's very... It's easy to get that kind of dynamic wrong if they're not careful, because the players, they pick up on everything. If there's a little bit of a confrontation or something...
And they'll play it also.
Oh, they know they're up to these players. They'll be thinking, well, how do I stay in this franchise?
It's the errant kid of the fighting parents.
Yeah, I just...
Play them against each other?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something. You're saying they pick on everything. These people have picked everything in terms of everyone from the squad is basically played. Right? 22. They've used 22 players.
I like that. It's junior cricket. You give everyone a go.
But I'll tell you one thing, it has actually happened in Delhi cricket. I remember it was an under-15 game, and for some reason I was looking at scorecards, and there were 29 players played over 3 matches.
Stop it.
29 players.
29 in 3.
Because all those uncles and aunties needed to be kept happy because they're all influential Delhi politicians or knew somebody in Delhi.
So the show is also ending how it started. You know who my father is?
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
Well, this is Delhi. Look, the modern world is all about taking part. It's not the winning. It's just giving everyone an opportunity.
He's naughty man. He's just...
Hashtag naughty. All right, but hey, listen, Delhi doesn't want any participation award. They are going to come hard. They're going to play hard today. And hopefully all the Indian batters are going to stand up and say, oh, we need to be counted. Because they invested heavily in Indian batters. And if you just have a quick look, you see that none of the Indian batters, except Akshar, right? Akshar, of course, has been doing well. But the rest of the Indian batters, and that's quite a talent roster, right? It is a really good talent roster. You could just play Indian batters right through. Yash Dhul, Priyamkar, Ripple, Abhishek Porel, Aman Khan, Prithvi Shaw. He's just gone. He's disappeared. Lalit Yadav, Sarfaraz Khan, Manish Pandey. Look at this. This is proper pedigree. And leaving aside, and we haven't, obviously there's no Akshar in this list, but look at all the others. And this is really poor returns for, quite a talented bunch of youngsters.
Yeah, I mean, and they are talented, you're right. If I was the management group, I'd be really just, players have got to go and score the runs, but you as a management group have got to put the player in the right mindset to go and produce some magic. And those players are talented. They've got a huge amount of talent. They've done it in the past. So I think someone like Ricky Ponting will be scratching his head because he's a good guy and a good guy to have around quite a young set of players. And he generally prides himself on getting the best out of people. So I think he'll be looking at that grim and thinking, oh, what have I said wrong or done wrong? Because you pride yourself on as a coach, I would imagine, on making sure that your players go out there with this mentality to go and produce some magic. And those numbers are so.
I've seen it, by the way. I've heard it from Kuldeep Yadav. Kuldeep Yadav said, Ricky told me you're going to play all 14 games. And that's what gave me confidence after he came.
No, exactly. It's very un-Ricky. And I was looking down the list and seeing a couple of players that just, like Yash Dhul. 2 matches is not enough. He's Delhi captain. He's just 2 matches is not enough. So I don't know what's going on there. Because he's just not the kind of players. Priyam Garg has actually just come in.
Yeah.
Somebody got injured and he came into the team. So all I'm saying is, this is very un-Ricky-like, to be honest.
You know what it is? When you lose a few at a stretch, it's called #Habda Dabdi. It's a good term. Come on, Michael, can you say that?
Habratati.
Habda Dabdi.
Habra
Dabdi.
Habra Dabri.
That's pretty good.
Habra Dabri.
Everything's a little chaotic. Everything's, All right. I'll tell you something that makes everything a little chaotic over here. Well, 2 things. One is the joy factor question. And that's a compliment because he's sitting here. And the second is, of course, our score guesses. So while Joy reads out the question, Michael and I are going to conspire and think of the score.
Okay, when this Cricbuzz panelist made his test debut, the player of the match was another Cricbuzz panelist. When the former, that means the original panelist, made his ODI debut, the first player he helped dismiss is another Cricbuzz regular. Name all 3.
All right, I'll tell you. 1, 2, 3. It's us. No, it's not. All right, #Cricbuzz Live. Send in your answers on Twitter if you can figure that out. Because we've had a lot of Cricbuzz panelists. Remember, the best of the best have walked through these halls. All right, what are we doing? Ahmedabad, high-scoring ground, but Delhi batting first. And I just want to tell you that...
have you taken a wicket already?
You will get very salty if I don't tell you that salt is out already. So salt is gone. So yeah, there you go. You can temper your...
Is that Shami's?
I did it again.
Shami's...
Yeah, Shami took him,
Oh, he's done it again.
162.
162, what are you saying?
Actually, I'm going to be optimistic. Give the Delhiites a chance. Go Delhi. Call your English captain.
Is there a number somewhere at the end of this?
170.
It's a huge number.
All of this and then 170. All right, 162, 170. Geez, I'll have to go higher then. I wanted to go 170. Should I go lower? No, higher. 180. They'll get a few runs. Come on.
Yeah.
Good?
I hope so.
Yeah. Let's get a few runs. Let's get a game. Because 180 also with this Gujarat batting lineup is not going to be enough. But remember, last year, there was one game against Mumbai. Mumbai was also somewhere around where Delhi is this season. And that's the game that Gujarat got a little complacent, 9 to win the last over and botched it. So, I'm just saying, right? Never give up. Never give up. This could be a really interesting, spicy game. All right? We're going to get out of here. We'll see you at the end of the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox. You like how I sold it? Like I made people believe that, like I made people believe this could be an even encounter. It could be. It could be. Did you guys get that? I told you it could. All right. That's all we have for you in Cricbuzz Live. We're going to see you on Cricbuzz Combox. That's the end of the 10th over. And you will see us then. Yes, you will. You know who my father is, right? Cut.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत लखनऊ जंक्शन
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ರೈಲು
পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दें